Yo, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, your boy Shady, the one and the only. So today, guys, we'll be checking out Auschwitz survivor explains how she escaped the gas chambers. So there are some stories we think we understand, we think we have a grasp of, until we hear them from the horse's mouth, until we hear them from the person who lived through them, before we understand the realness of it, the reality, the depth, the goriness, the gruesomeness of the story. Without saying too much, guys, today we're going to go straight to action. But before we start, guys, smash like, subscribe, share this video to someone. Let's get this started.
King Charles is going to be the very first British head of state ever to visit Auschwitz today. It's a very important day. It marks the 80th anniversary of its liberation by the Allies as part of the Holocaust Memorial Day.
He's going to be the first monarch ever to visit it. Interesting.
6 million Jewish people, as well as millions of others, were murdered
May they
during the
rest in
Holocaust
peace.
through Nazi persecution.
Well, in just a moment, we'll be privileged to speak to Rachel Levy here, a survivor of the Auschwitz death camp.
Well, Auschwitz survivor Rachel joins us now, alongside Olivia Marks-Waldman, the chief executive of the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust.
Wow. Imagine the trauma she's been through. Imagine the pain. You know, some trauma live with you all your life. It's like a PTSD.
Very good morning to you both. I know this is a hugely significant moment for you, Rachel.
Thank you.
But what else is hugely significant is the fact you managed to escape. You were in the queue, weren't you?
Yeah.
She was in the queue. She literally saw death right there, beckoning unto her. She saw death. Imagine the fear she must have gone through. Imagine. Oh my God. I wonder how she escaped.
You were in the queue, weren't you, for
Yes.
the gas chamber with a friend,
Yeah.
but you ran away. Tell us what happened.
Well, we were standing in the queue near the kitchens, and for some reason or other, we weren't going. We were looking at the gate, of course, the famous gate where once you got through there, you didn't come back.
Imagine that. Just, she said the famous gate. Once you get through there, you're not coming back. You just know that it's a land of no return. Well, not a land, a door of no return. You go in, you don't come out. It's like when you're born, you come out of the womb, you can never go back to the womb. I wonder when she had the chance to escape. I wonder how she knew this was the time to make a run for it.
And then some kind of commotion started. And my friend was very brave, Zelda. Suddenly she got hold of my hand. She said, "Come, let's go." I said, "Where are we going?" "We're getting out of here." And we were standing, and with that moment they came out of the kitchens with a soup urn, great big urn, with soup to take to the people in the camp. And we got hold of it. We went in and held the soup being carried out. And then we got back to our block.
Just one decision. One decision. Like it took a second for them to save their lives. Just one really smart decision was the difference between life and death. It was just God that saved them.
When we got back to the block, nobody would believe us. Well, what had happened? We didn't believe it ourselves. It was very, very, without thinking, just on the spur of the moment.
Pure instinct.
Yeah.
You know, hearing you describe that happening all those years ago, almost 80 years ago, it's interesting because memories fade with age, don't they? They become blurred. How vivid are your memories specifically of Auschwitz?
It's very vivid. I remember everything. I don't remember what happened day to day, but there was nothing happening, really, because by the time we got to the camps, it was not as strict with us. We didn't go out to work. We just vegetated in the block and talked to people if we could, and mostly we talked about food.
And what was the reason for deciding on that day that you actually escaped from the gas chamber to send you to the gas chamber? What had changed?
Well, he did, Mengele, Dr. Joseph Mengele, did his sudden exams. He would examine people. And he'd swing the doors open, and there he was, and you had to stand in line, and he looked you up and down, naked.
Oh my God. Is that how it was done? That is so dehumanizing. They were reduced to nothing, to like cattle, to like sheep. Was that how worthless they were to them? Was that how worthless the Nazis saw the Jews back then? Just came around, looked at them up to down, examined them naked, and then decides which one goes to the gas chamber and which one waits till another day. This is disturbing. This is disturbing. You know, this isn't just history. It is trauma, and it lives on. And how can anyone deny that this didn't happen?
He looked at the blemishes, and if you looked weak, and he picked out the people that he thought of no use in the camp anymore. Not that we were any use at the time.
Call them.
And we chose us, my friend and me.
Oh.
And you go this way, and the others went back to the block, and we were to go out. We knew by then, of course, what was happening. We had learned that this is what happens once he chooses you to go to the left and go stand by outside the block.
Chosen to die. That's what it was. Just chosen and condemned to death.
We were marched away from there.
When you first arrived at Auschwitz, your mother was separated from you, your siblings.
When we first arrived from Auschwitz, from the block, the trains that arrived to Auschwitz, doors flying open, and they threw us out. You must get out of the carriages. And the Gestapo was standing there, waiting to count us. That's my vision there. I saw my mother going pushed to the right, and my brother, my older brother, to the left. And we watched her walk away with a baby in her arms and my two little sisters. That's all I knew then. And I didn't know what was happening, actually. Then we were rushed through in a queue again into somewhere, which was the block in the camp. And my brother went with the men, and I had to go with the women. When we got to the block, that was it. That's where we were.
And your mother?
And my mother and my rest of my family. I had learned that very soon after I got there from other people. They went straight to the gas chambers.
This is horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. Can you pause for a moment and put yourself in her shoes? Just put yourself in her shoes and think. I do not wish this on anybody. I do not wish this on anybody. And coming to the modern times, we have anti-Semitism on the rise. After these people have been through this, there's still anti-Semitism up till now. There's still hate up till now. We haven't learned from history. We haven't learned. To be honest, after watching this video and how anti-Semitism is on the rise right now, this reminds me that forgetting the past is very, very dangerous because we'll end up repeating it again.
And they were, of course, amongst these 6 million
Yes.
European Jews, men, women,
Yeah.
children, the young and the old, who were either asphyxiated or strangled or shot or starved to death. And you saw it happen. You were there. So can I ask you this? How does it make you feel when you hear one of these so-called Holocaust deniers spouting their nonsense, saying that it's all a made-up story, it's just Jewish propaganda, it didn't happen?
Unfortunately.
How could anyone deny this? With all the proof, with everything, how can anyone deny this and call it propaganda? No, that is the question I'm asking you.
Definitely, yes. They're still existing.
You saw it happen. You were there. So, can I ask you this? How does it make you feel when you hear one of these so-called Holocaust deniers spouting their nonsense, saying that it's all a made-up story, it's just Jewish propaganda, it didn't happen?
Unfortunately, yes. They're still existing, and they still don't believe it, and it's unfortunate. There's nothing we can do about it. We try. We've done as much as we can and doing, talking to people, talking to young people, children in schools, hoping they will remember what I talk about.
But it must make you very angry.
I don't get angry anymore, not really.
Oh, after all her experience, after all the pain and everything, she doesn't get angry. All of this happened and she just see people denying it. I think rather than anger, what it will cause her will be pain. Will be pain, sadness. It will kind of bring back that feeling to her again of how they were hated back then. It's like they're reliving history again. The history that they're trying to forget, they're trying to live in the past. It's like it's haunting them. And now it's haunting their children as well.
I don't get angry. Feeling sick about it, yes. Having nightmares again, yes. But anger's wasted.
Rachel, you couldn't talk about this at all for nearly 50 years.
Yes.
50
half a century,
years.
you just
Yeah.
couldn't speak about it. What changed?
Well, it was rather difficult. I was taken by the great big Maxwell, Robert Maxwell, who gave an invitation out for survivors to come to London, first in Oxford, then London. And we were all gathered in a big place in North London. And after having a nice lunch, everything, and the speakers, we were divided into groups of 10 to go and sit and tell our story with counsellors there. There was a Red Cross in the field there. There was a first aid, I should say, first aid, not Red Cross. And we were to speak about our life. Now, my husband was sitting on my left. The rest was just a group of 10. Started over there telling stories and gradually came to my... And I thought, well, I'm forced now. I have to talk. Everybody else has. I didn't get further than my name because I started shaking and feeling ill. And I couldn't say any more. And I said to my husband, take me out.
When someone comes really close to death, I can just imagine, like, trying to recount it. It will just put you back in that position again. And God have mercy. God have mercy. Honestly, we human beings, we are desperately wicked in our hearts.
Feeling ill. And I couldn't say any more. And I said to my husband, take me out. Take me out. My husband didn't know anything about it either. I never spoke to him.
Oh.
My children growing up to teenagers, they still didn't know. They took me out and I was ill for months on end. I had a hammering in my head and nobody could do anything about it. The counsellors kept calling me by phone, let us come to you and counsel you, talk to us, and I couldn't. Everybody wanted to help me. But then I had a very good friend, Dr. Pergood Morris, and a couple. And we were good friends. And he said, come and talk to me on my own. Perhaps that'll help. And I agreed because I was suffering with this hammering for weeks and weeks. And he listened to me, and he never said a word, just listened to the whole story. And I sat and talked and told him everything, just to him. And it worried me what I was doing to him. And that always worried me what effect it will have on my husband, my children, and family.
Okay, so one of the reasons why she wasn't saying it is because she was worried about the effect it would have on the people that are listening to her. Wow, carrying all that responsibility, carrying all that weight, all that burden on her shoulders, not being able to share it because of how gory it is, or how gory it was. That is a really tough burden to bear alone.
And he said, all I want to do is put my arms around you and hug you.
I think that's what viewers will want to do as well.
And that's what happened.
Olivia, I mean, listening to Rachel and her story, she's, I hope you don't mind me saying you're 94 now, Rachel.
Yes.
You know, remarkable story of survival,
94.
luck, you know, suppression of her experiences for 50 years
50.
and now being able to talk openly. I know you've been honoured with the British Empire Medal for your contribution to Holocaust education. How important, Olivia, is it today, the 80th anniversary
It's so
of the liberation of Auschwitz, that the King is going, the first British monarch ever to do so? Seems remarkable.
His Majesty the King is patron of the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust. He's had such a long-term commitment to Holocaust memorial and commemoration and really understands why necessary it is for all of us to be learning from the past. It's said that whoever hears a witness becomes a witness. And we all are today, as we've heard from Rachel, and we have that responsibility with what we're listening to your history, Rachel. And particularly on Holocaust Memorial Day, we all have an opportunity to listen to survivors like Rachel, take our lead from His Majesty, and mark Holocaust Memorial Day and share what we've heard. And we really hope that all the viewers watching today are going to take that opportunity.
Well,
So, not forgetting the past, it's not only forgetting the past about the Jews, also the past about slavery, also the past about, you know, the whole atrocities that humankind has been through. All right, we need to remember all of this. We need to teach all of this. We need to know all of this so we don't repeat it, so we learn, so we can be the wiser. The message in this is not just to the Jews, it's to the whole world entirely as well. For us all to learn from the mistakes of those before us, from their stories, from the things they've been through, all right? So we don't fall by the exact same mistakes.
I know that the events are underway already and the ceremonies will take place later this afternoon. Thank you both. Olivia, thank you very much indeed. And Rachel, we really appreciate your testimony this morning. It's so important to keep sharing it. Thank you very much indeed.
I must say to you, this was a tough watch. Hearing her recount her experience was pretty tough, pretty intense. Because look at her, 94 years old. This happened over, well, almost 80 years ago, right? And she couldn't talk about it for about 50 years for you to know the kind of trauma she went through. So I'm not a stranger to trauma, all right? I lost my dad when I was about 16, pushing to 17. I felt some pain then. Then I lost my mom 2 years later. And trust me, for the next 10 years, I wasn't even telling people about it. A lot of people, presently, a lot of people don't know. A lot of the friends that I lost contact with some years ago do not know. Why? Because I never talked about it. I never told them about it. They've been to my family house, but they all assumed that my mom was in Africa. So we never really talked about it, you know. Because sometimes trauma is so real. It's so life-changing, all right? It affects you in ways. All right, in ways that you can't explain. Trauma affects different people differently. Someone could lose their mom and not feel a thing. Maybe they could just cry for a bit and then feel her absence for maybe a year or two, and that's it. But for me, it went over 10 years. It was like my life came to a full stop. All right, things changed. It was really tough. So I know the experience of going through trauma. But what she went through, she literally saw like she almost died. Like she saw death. She was in the queue already. She was already chosen to be called. She was chosen to be ended. Also, when she was separated from her family, her mother and her brother were gassed. So she had that memory with her. And after she was looked up and down like she was no human, like the doctor examined her from head to toe, you know, her naked body, checked everything, looked. I was like, rah, you go die. How? You know, how can we humans lower ourselves to a level below animals? It is sad. And then there are Holocaust deniers. I'm going to round up this video saying it is dangerous for us to forget the past, because we'll end up falling by the same mistakes again. If this video moved you, guys, drop me a comment. Okay, drop some love in the comment section. Okay, and you can say something as well. I would really appreciate it if you drop a love, you know, to honor her story. And even if you're a Holocaust denier, put a comment down there, and I would like to know why you're a Holocaust denier. And guys, I love you all. You take care. It's gonna be a peace out from me for now.
Oh, I love you more than words can say. You are me. Oh, you are the light that shines in my way. You are me. Oh.